Ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. The woman who spent years weaponizing her office against Donald J. Trump has just been indicted by the very justice system that she once controlled. That's right. Letitia James, the face of lawfare, the self-proclaimed slayer of Trump, is now facing the same federal heat that she unleashed on everyone else. Wow. Sources inside the Bureau confirm an active federal indictment, a full-blown criminal case, and a referral signed off by President Donald Trump's Department of Justice. And the irony, it is her own mortgage documents that brought her down. The same kind of fraud that she once accused Trump of committing. Now, tonight, we are exposing the whole paper trail, the FBI raid, the panic inside the New York Democratic machine, and the quiet celebration that is echoing across conservative America. Because, folks, make no mistake, this isn't just an investigation. This is the end of an era. The hunter has become the hunted, and for the first time in years, justice never felt so balanced. Has it? Hit the like button, subscribe, guys. All right, folks, what we're witnessing today is nothing short of historic. The FBI has officially confirmed a federal indictment of New York Attorney General Letitia James. This is the same woman who once vowed to take down President Trump. The courthouse walls that echoed with her accusations now echo with her own arraignment. New York's political machine is completely rattled. The justice system that she once weaponized is finally turning inward. And this isn't revenge. This is reckoning, guys, because the very statutes that she used against Trump are the same ones that prosecutors now cite against her. Now, the shockwaves, they're being felt all the way from Albany to Washington. And tonight, the question isn't whether she's guilty. It's whether she's going to survive politically long enough to plead her case. Now, let me know what you guys think. Is Letitia James guilty or is she not guilty? I want to know what you guys think so far. Now, it all began with paperwork. A 2020 second home writer that told one story to the bank and a completely different one to the IRS. Letitia James claimed a property as her second home, swearing that she alone would occupy it. Yet her tax filing said otherwise. Investigators allege that she misrepresented occupancy to lock in a lower rate, a move ordinary citizens would normally go to prison for. Now, that signature, that date, August 17th, 2020, is now evidence in a federal probe. The FBI's Financial Crimes Unit connected those discrepancies after a referral from the Trump-era Department of Justice. And when agents followed the trail, they discovered this wasn't a one-off mistake. It was the first thread in a web of deceit that's now unraveling in public view. Now, this is kind of where the story takes a darker turn, because long before she was even the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James was already playing fast and loose with the truth. Investigators have now unearthed a 1983 mortgage document signed alongside with her father, Robert James, a document where she alleged listing herself not as his daughter, but as his wife. Ew. Wouldn't that be like incest or something? Anyway, that's right, guys. Prosecutors say it was a deliberate act meant to help her father qualify for a loan that he couldn't otherwise obtain. And now, decades later, that same signature has come back to haunt her. Federal prosecutors are reportedly using it to establish pattern and intent, showing this wasn't just one bad decision in 2020, but a lifetime of financial manipulation hidden behind political power. Now, here's where it all exploded. Sources confirm that it was President Trump's Justice Department, specifically the Office of Inspector General, in cooperation with the Federal Housing Finance Agency, that made the initial criminal referral to federal prosecutors. Now, this referral came after months of quiet review triggered by whistleblower reports inside New York's Financial Oversight Division. Now, conservative media covered it relentlessly, cheering the irony as the woman who pursued Trump for years was finally being scrutinized under his administration's renewed anti-corruption effort. But the mainstream press, dead silent. Not a whisper on CNN, not a whisper on MSNBC or The Times. Only now, when indictments are real and the FBI has stepped in, are they forced to face what they refused to report all along. Now, I just received this comment from A. Soros Golden left on our YouTube channel saying, "Hey, Ron, I called Chapter and I used your name. Seriously, it is open enrollment and I knew who I wanted to switch to, but I was just so confused about the different plans. I talked to Tyler and he was so helpful. He even compared all of the plans that they have and pointed out where I could save money and what the yearly cost might be. Seriously, thank you. I didn't even want to call them because I don't like sales, but you were right. I am now very happy that I called and I made the right choice for me and my husband. And best of all, they took care of the enrollment for us. 30 minutes from start to finish. Guys, this is what real help sounds like, and it's exactly why I partnered with Chapter. The right Medicare plan balances three things: cost, doctors, and benefits. But most people are just stuck. They're stuck sacrificing at least one of them. And so this is where Chapter comes in. Chapter helps people find coverage where you don't have to choose. You can actually have all three. Now, one of our viewers, she said, Chapter showed me a Medicare plan that saved money and kept my doctors. So let me ask you, are you going to keep sacrificing, or are you going to do what most people are already doing and balancing it all? Now, most people, they're calling the phone number right there at the bottom of your screen, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. That phone number again is 909-563-8279. Then came the raid that shook the Empire State. Federal agents acting under sealed warrants stormed Letitia James' Manhattan office at dawn. Now, witnesses are saying boxes of files, hard drives, and laptops were hauled out under heavy scrutiny. They weren't just any old documents. These were mortgage records, tax filings, and internal communications that investigators say directly contradict her public statements. Now, the optics alone are devastating. The top law enforcement officer in New York raided by the very agencies that she once commanded. Agents reportedly discovered communications showing coordination between her staff and lenders about revised occupancy language, which prosecutors are now viewing as a smoking gun. Now, for New York Democrats, it was the nightmare headline that they had hoped would never come. Their top prosecutor caught in her own legal trap. Now, hey guys, real quick question for everybody who's watching the show right now. How'd you guys find this video today? Did you type in like Ron Yates today, or maybe Ron Yates latest news? Drop it in the comments down below. I always like seeing how new viewers find their way here, especially when major news stories break like this one. Anyway, so federal prosecutors wasted no time laying out the framework. Letitia James now faces multiple counts of bank fraud, wire fraud, and false statements to a financial institution. Now, I don't know if you know this, but these are very serious felonies that could carry decades in prison if proven. Now, the U.S. Attorney's Office confirmed that a grand jury revised evidence suggesting she intentionally misrepresented her property status in order to obtain better loan terms. Now, the irony couldn't be more brutal for her. These are the same statutes that she used to go after Trump's real estate empire. You guys remember that? Drop a yes if you guys remember her using these same tactics to go after Trump. Well, conservative commentators are calling it poetic justice, but prosecutors say it's simply about equal application of the law. One federal official put it bluntly: if she can charge Trump for inflating assets, we can charge her for lying on mortgage forms. And now she's officially been charged. Almost overnight, the New York Democratic establishment began to implode, guys. Inside Albany, whispers of resignation talks spread like wildfire. Governor Kathy Hochul, once James' political ally, is said to be quietly distancing herself, refusing to issue any public statements beyond a single line about respecting the judicial process. Progressive activists who once praised James as a symbol of resistance are suddenly silent. I wonder why. Party donors are panicking, fearing her scandal could poison the entire 2026 ticket. And make no mistake, the knives are out. One strategist reportedly said, if she doesn't step down soon, she'll drag us all down with her. Even lifelong allies are signaling fatigue, recognizing that defending her now could cost them their careers. Now, the machine that lifted her up is now tearing itself apart. Meanwhile, on the other side of the aisle, the reaction was swift and it was explosive. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, Trump's staunch ally and rising GOP star from New York, released a statement that set the internet on fire. Justice has finally been served. No one is above the law, not even the attorney general. Now, her words were echoed by Republicans across the country, framing this as a turning point for accountability. For years, conservatives felt targeted, censored, and prosecuted by a partisan system. Now, with President Trump back in the office, back in the White House, and Letitia James facing criminal charges, the pendulum has swung. To Trump supporters, this isn't vengeance, this is vindication. The same law that she weaponized has circled back like a boomerang, and Stefanik made it very clear. The double standard ends here. And that right there, that is when the media panic began. MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, all of the same outlets that gave Letitia James primetime coverage when she went after Trump, suddenly had nothing to say. So when they finally did address it, It was damage control. MSNBC even replayed her old Chris Hayes interview where she stumbled through denials about her second home and claimed the allegations were baseless. But now those same clips look like self-incrimination. The tone has shifted from praise to panic. Panelists who once called her fearless now use words like reckless and disappointing. Even late night hosts are awkwardly avoiding the subject. It's like the media equivalent of a fire drill. The same people who helped build her up are sprinting for the exits, pretending that they never helped light the match. Desperation breeds exposure. With the state refusing to let her use taxpayer dollars for her defense, Letitia James has launched a full-scale legal defense fund. That's right, guys. She is now trying to raise money because she can't get away with using taxpayer dollars to defend herself. Her team scrambled to try and frame this as grassroots, but filings reveal major donors tied to George Soros' network and billionaire activist Reid Hoffman. Reports say she's already pulled in over $1 million, but optics are everything, folks. This is the same woman who called Trump's fundraising corruption in plain sight. She's now begging wealthy elites for help to stay out of prison. I mean, even moderate Democrats are uneasy about this. As one commentator put it, she is turned into exactly what she claimed to fight against. The anti-corruption crusader has become the scandal, and now every donation is another headline she just can't afford. And so you can pretty much feel it. The shift in the air across New York and even beyond New York, the public has turned on Letitia James. The same voters who once saw her as a crusader for justice, they're now seeing her as a symbol of political hypocrisy. Protests have erupted outside of her Manhattan office and online. Hashtags like hashtag Tish Resign and hashtag Justice for All are all trending nationwide. Hey, real quick, guys, drop a resign if you think Big Tish should resign. Drop a prison time if you think that she should be in prison for what she has been accused of doing. Now, one viral comment pretty much summed it up perfectly. The woman who promised to clean up corruption just became the headline for it. Now, it's not just conservatives who are celebrating. Independents, even moderate Democrats are voicing outrage here, guys. Years of media worship have collided and collapsed into disbelief. Now, to many Americans, she isn't the law anymore. She is the example. The facade of integrity has cracked, and the fall from grace is playing out in real time. Now, the $1 million question, or perhaps even the 20-year question, what happened next? What happens next? Legal analysts are already projecting serious prison exposure if she's convicted, up to 30 years combined for bank fraud and wire fraud, plus automatic disbarment. Federal prosecutors could seek asset forfeiture, and insiders say discussions about a resignation timeline have already begun. Now, the pressure is mounting by the hour. Some believe she will strike a plea deal to avoid trial. Others are saying that her ego won't allow it. But what is certain here is this: she's out of moves. Her allies are gone, her reputation is shredded, and her future hinges on a defense that even her own party won't fund. So whether she steps down or gets dragged out, the countdown has already started. And then came the movement that everyone was waiting for: President Donald J. Trump's response to all this. Anybody want to hear Trump's response to what's going on with Letitia James right now? From the White House lawn, he didn't gloat, he didn't shout, he just simply said, justice applies to everyone, no exceptions. It was calm, measured, and devastating. For years, the left painted Trump as vindictive, obsessed with payback, but in this moment, he looked like the adult in the room, watching the law finally catch up with someone who abused it. Now, inside of Trump's base, the reaction was electric. Rallies erupted with chants of equal justice and karma served. Drop a karma down below if you think that this is karma in action today. Even as critics were forced to admit, the timing was poetic. Trump's patience paid off. He didn't have to destroy Letitia James. She destroyed herself, using the very tools that she once aimed at him. Now, this isn't just one indictment. This is a national turning point. For years, America has watched as prosecutors, politicians, and even pundits use the legal system like a political weapon. But now that weapon has backfired. Letitia James became the face of lawfare, and now she's the face of its own collapse. Her fall sends a message. When you twist justice for politics, justice will eventually twist back. Legal scholars are already debating what this means for future state AGs and politically motivated prosecutions. The lesson is clear. The law isn't supposed to serve ideology. It's supposed to serve the people. And after years of watching one side act with impunity, the pendulum is swinging backward toward accountability. This is balance restored, one indictment at a time. For nearly a decade, Letitia James symbolized the crusade against Donald Trump, the so-called prosecutor of democracy, the face of moral superiority, right? But now her downfall marks the death of that narrative. The myth of the righteous resistance has imploded. Voters are tired of prosecutors turned politicians of witch hunts dressed up as justice. Even in liberal strongholds, people are asking hard questions like, how many others abuse their power for headlines? It's a valid question, right? I mean, this isn't just a political collapse. This is a cultural reset. The Trump-Russia hysteria, the endless investigations, the performative outrage, all of it feels like a bad hangover that America's just finally waking up from. So what we're witnessing isn't just one woman's fall. This is the moment that the entire facade of selective justice comes crashing down. So here we are, October 2025, and the tables have turned. The same system that was weaponized against one man has finally been forced to face itself. Letitia James once swore that she would hold Trump accountable. Well, tonight, she's the one that's being held accountable by the very laws that she abused. But this isn't just about her. This is about what comes next. Will America learn that true justice is blind, or will we just keep on using it as a political sword? President Trump promised a return to fairness, and tonight that promise is being tested and proven. So stay vigilant, patriots. The storm has only just begun to clear. Like, subscribe, and share, because the truth always finds its way home.